January 10, 1944. In a cold interrogation room in Nazi-occupied Belarus, a 17-year-old girl stood surrounded by armed German officers. But in that moment, she showed a kind of courage that even trained soldiers rarely possess. Her name was Zinaida Portnova, and within hours, she would become a legend. Zinaida Portnova was born on February 20, 1926, in Leningrad, now St. Petersburg. Like many children of her time, she grew up in an ordinary Soviet family. She loved school, reading, and spending summers with her grandmother in Belarus. No one could have guessed that this quiet, serious girl would one day challenge an entire occupying force. In 1941, when Nazi Germany launched Operation Barbarossa and invaded the Soviet Union, everything changed. Zinaida was only 15 years old and visiting her grandmother in the village of Obel, in what is now Belarus. The German army quickly occupied the area. Schools were shut down, neighbors disappeared. Fear became part of daily life.
But fear did not silence Zinaida. Instead of running or hiding, she joined a local underground resistance group called Young Avengers, a Komsomol-affiliated partisan organization made up mostly of teenagers. These young boys and girls carried out sabotage missions against the German occupation forces. They distributed anti-Nazi leaflets, gathered intelligence, and disrupted supply lines. Zinaida was not just a supporter, she became an active operative. One of her most dangerous missions came in 1943. She managed to get a job working in a kitchen that served German officers. It was a risky move. If discovered, she would be executed immediately, but she saw an opportunity. One day, she secretly poisoned the food prepared for the German soldiers. The result was devastating for the occupiers. Dozens of German officers reportedly fell ill, and several died. Suspicion quickly spread. The Germans began investigating. When Zinaida herself became ill from accidentally tasting the poisoned soup to avoid suspicion, she barely survived. She managed to escape to the forest where Soviet partisans were hiding. Even after such a close call with death, she did not stop. She became a scout for the partisans, moving quietly between villages, collecting information about German troop movements. At just 16, she was risking her life daily. But in late 1943, tragedy struck. Zinaida was sent on a mission to contact underground members who had gone silent. Unfortunately, she was betrayed and captured by the German forces. She was taken in for interrogation. The officers expected fear. They expected tears. Instead, they met defiance. During questioning, something unbelievable happened. According to historical accounts, while an officer was distracted, Zinaida grabbed a pistol from the desk. In seconds, she shot the interrogating officer, then another German soldier. She ran for the door, firing as she went. For a brief moment, freedom seemed possible. But she was quickly surrounded. The Germans captured her again. What followed was brutal. Zinaida was tortured for information about the partisan network. They demanded names, locations, codes. She refused to speak. Even under extreme physical torture, she remained silent. On January 10, 1944, at just 17 years old, Zinaida Portnova was executed. She died without betraying her comrades. After the war, her bravery did not go unnoticed. In 1958, she was posthumously awarded the title Hero of the Soviet Union, the highest honor in the country. Her story became part of Soviet history books, told as an example of courage, loyalty, and resistance. But beyond medals and titles, what makes her story powerful is her age, 17. Her life also shows a deeper truth about war. Heroes are not always grown men with medals and uniforms. Sometimes they are schoolgirls with quiet determination and unbreakable will. Today, monuments and schools in Belarus and Russia carry her name. Her face appears in history books. Yet, behind the legend was a real girl, someone who once had dreams beyond war. When we think of World War II, we often imagine massive battles, tanks, and generals. But history is also shaped by individuals like Zinaida Portnova, people whose bravery changes the moral landscape of conflict. Her final act in that interrogation room was not just an attempt to escape. It was a statement that even in chains, even at 17, she refused to surrender her dignity. And perhaps that is why her story still matters. Because courage is not about age, it is about choice. On that freezing day in January 1944, a teenage girl made her final choice, and in doing so, became immortal in history.